Well, Arlene Dickinson is one of the country's best-known business leaders, managing general partner at District Ventures Capital. She also sits on the Prime Minister's Advisory Council on Canada-U.S. relations. Arlene, always good to see you. Thank you for being with us again.
Michael, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for having me on.
So listen, I want to start with these new Chinese tariffs that started very early this morning. You know, China is Canada's second largest export market. Did they at all come up in your meeting with the Prime Minister yesterday? Was anything said about that?
I mean, specifically with regards to China, no, but what was mentioned was agriculture and the impact on our farmers and on our agricultural sector and what it's going to mean with the tariffs that are coming into place. So, you know, the conversation was around tariffs in general and the impact on all of the sectors that will be feeling the pain, in particular, if you think about the canola growers, very big impact.
Yeah, very big, as we know. You know, when the Prime Minister was told about the pain, and you know, acknowledging the fact that this was Prime Minister Carney's first time leading the Advisory Council as Prime Minister, what was said about the concerns farmers have given this moment? You know, yes, China, but also the United States.
Right. I mean, when we think about agriculture and agri-food and how important the sector is to Canada, we can think about, again, how do we make sure that we are creating processing and production here at home so that we can export to other markets outside of the ones that you've just identified. I mean, these are big customers to replace, and they're going to be difficult to replace, but we have to find a way through that, and we have to find a way to ensure that our farmers are protected and supported through what's going to be a very difficult time.
Yeah, difficult time. And, you know, that's farmers specifically. But I'm wondering what was said about the challenge of the next little while, because I think a lot of Canadians still don't know what's going to come down the pipes. And there have been immediate impacts. I'm thinking particularly with steel workers, aluminum workers in this country. But in terms of a greater pain across industries, what was being said about what is ahead for Canadians?
You know, one of the things that Prime Minister Carney did focus on was the importance of and the need for urgent action, and to make sure that we're doing things right away to help counter what is happening. At the end of the day, you know, he had a line that really stuck with me, which was, we can do more for ourselves than he can ever do to us. In other words, it's really about we can take this moment to build Canada and to help ensure that we aren't as vulnerable ever again. And I do believe that, you know, there's a lot of measures in place. There's a lot of things that are going to happen across multiple sectors. This is a multi-pronged approach. This is not just one sector, not just the steel, not just the aluminum, not just the auto workers, not just the farmers. It's impacting everybody. Tariffs are, you know, they never ever help consumers. They never help the everyday citizen. They only ever help, you know, governments figure out how to take more power. And I think that's what we're seeing the result of here with some of the tariffs that are being imposed. They are not about helping people. And Americans are going to feel the pain. Canadians are going to feel the pain. And this is unfortunate that the people that can least afford it are the ones that are going to have the largest impact. And so the government has to be very cognizant of ensuring that there's programs and help in place to support those people that are going to feel that pain.
How quickly do you think that will come into place? I know the government has talked about EI benefits and sharing part-time jobs in order to spread out hours for people who may be compromised. What other actions, how quickly might we actually see them? I
think quite quickly. I mean, EI is a solution. It is not the solution. I think what we have to do is create jobs. We have to figure out how to support everything from our housing sector through to our agricultural sector, and we have to make sure that we're building. And then to do that, you actually end up creating employment. So what we don't want is programs that just, you know, keep people afloat. What we want is programs that actually help drive people forward. And I believe that's what the Prime Minister is focused on.
Mm-hmm. So programs to guide people forward, and we know that there have been actions taken in terms of trying to diversify markets by the very fact that Prime Minister Carney started his term in office going to Paris and London to talk with traditional allies. We know that premiers are talking about internal trade. How quickly are those things progressing, Arlene? Because I think those are the things, you know, in the window that Canadians look to as perhaps some hopeful points in this moment.
Yeah, there are. And I think one of the things that, you know, we can all do a better job of is communicating some of those positive moments forward, because there's so much happening that I don't know that the communication is as strong as it could be from any corner. And that's across all governments and across all provinces and across the federal government as well. So, I think looking out for more communication, better inform Canadians so people understand what's happening. Interprovincial trade barriers are starting to come down. We are seeing action on a variety of fronts, and that needs to be communicated effectively.
Mm-hmm. Now, we are about to enter a federal election campaign, after which one of the parties, will have a mandate from the Canadian people. Do you think that's going to help the situation? Because we have been essentially in this period of transition since early January.
Yeah, I believe that having the mandate by the voters is going to actually help significantly. But what I can say is that I did not see any hesitation from Prime Minister Carney to be motivated to act while he is in power now and hopefully into the future, or not into the future. There's an election that's going to take place. So whoever is voted in is going to be the Prime Minister and is going to make those decisions. But we can't stop and wait for that. We have to keep moving. I think that's what you're going to see.
Okay. Well, Arlene, you've been very generous in sharing with us your moments in the council. So thank you for this evening. I appreciate the time.
It's my pleasure. Thanks, Michael.